Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's day 12 on Barbosa, my 14-day island challenge where I'm building a pirate themed island. We just have two more days of the challenge. I can't believe it. Today we are working on the jungle area on my island, which I've been saying I've been really excited to do. Up here is actually like my little black market, treasure market, kind of like a bazaar area on the island, and I want to have the entrance to the jungle be through here. So I have quite a lot of terraforming to work on, and also just the space over here is kind of small. I don't really have that much room to work with, especially for like a very natural area, but I did manage to make that one area by Mermaid Lagoon work, so I'm hoping the same will happen for today. The one thing I know I really want to do for this jungle area is probably create a, oops, sorry, the building is like right here, is probably create like a temple, a forbidden temple with like a hidden pirate treasure or something. I think that's really only going to fit back here, so I might have to make some like transitions and then wind through the jungle over here. We'll see how this is going to come together. But I also know that I wanted to put a little bit of the water path going across, or I guess underneath, this little bridge right here. So I think it would be best if I first start out by extending out this terraforming, and I'll probably like curve it like that because I do want to put in a waterfall right about here. And I would have loved to have made a lookout spot with like a bunch of trees and stuff in the jungle. I'll see if I can make it work, but considering we are really close to the back of the map, I'm not really sure how that's gonna work out, but I could always try. We'll see. All right, let's see if I can make this water work. I want to have like a little waterfall here, make it run that way, and then have all of this be trees. So I'm thinking palm trees, bamboo, hardwood, pretty much all of them for this area, and this is just gonna look like a little river. I also wanted to put in some more trees on the right hand side of this bridge as well, so we're gonna have to make it look like this river runs around the trees and kind of like underneath the building, because I want one palm tree right about here, and I have my pockets kind of stacked with a bunch of different plants. I hope it's enough, but I know that I'm probably going to be planting a lot of different bushes and flowers and trees, so it probably isn't enough, and I might have to go to a treasure island, but I guess we will find out for sure. So filling in the water here, I just want to extend it kind of like underneath the building, and then I am thinking of putting in an incline maybe somewhere over here, just because I think the building is blocking your view a little bit, so we may have to make a bigger cliff. Alright, here's what we're working with. I actually really like it. I did not think that was going to work as well as it did. I just wanted a little bit of a water detail, so that actually makes me really happy that that worked out. And then I wanted to create a waterfall. Maybe I'll make like a river or something. Ooh, you know what would be really cool? If I keep this, and then I can add even more water running through here, or this might be filled with trees, I don't really know, but kind of make it look like a little bit of a canyon. So maybe this could be a lookout point of some sort, and then you'll kind of walk this way, and then there can be a bridge that I think leads to that side of the jungle. That could be interesting. Okay, here's what we're working with. I wanted to put in a river that connects to this waterfall, but that would probably mean I'd have to extend out this cliff even more, and that might kind of defeat the purpose of it looking like a canyon, because then I'm just gonna run out of space. But I can keep trying. This would ideally be a diagonal bridge that leads this way, and then you can like wind through here. So if I want to put a diagonal bridge, I'm definitely going to have to fill in all of this cliff here. So I'm trying to determine if it's really worth doing that. I guess so. Yeah, I'm gonna fill all this in, and then we can just work around this area. And I guess that would give us more land to work with on the second tier. I really liked the idea of having a lookout though. Ta-da! All the terraforming is finally in here. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how many weeds were on this cliff. Okay, that's a lot of weeds. I might have to pick a lot of those off. Anyways, this is what the terraforming looks like. I also extended out the cliff a little bit over here. Let me actually climb down so you can kind of get an idea of where we are. This is the tiny little beach that's behind Skull Rock. so I'm not sure if I want to have like another entrance into the jungle from here. Maybe I could, or this just might be like a little secluded beach. We'll see. And then I also kind of laid out a few little spots where I can plant some trees and things, so I might as well plant those before I lose track of where I want them to be. Let's do a coconut tree right here. This one might be a bamboo, which I barely have any bamboo trees or saplings, so that's gonna be a problem. Another coconut tree can go right there, and then this one would probably be a hardwood. So I just want it to feel very lush when you're crossing this bridge right here, so I think that's gonna look really good. And then I also connected in the waterfall right there. I think it's very cool. Let's go ahead and put in my bamboo partitions again. I just want to place them already so I know if everything fits properly. Okay, that's kind of cool. I feel like the archway is kind of blocking most of the bridge, but I'm kind of accepting that. It's going to be a very small space. And then I need to figure out what code I'm going to use for the bridge itself. I might just use the deck code. It's the only one that kind of looks a little more rustic and run down. So let's just put this on the bottom. I do kind of like that you can see the bamboo from the side though. That's kind of cool. But I think this frame right here is really going to be the staple view for the entrance to the jungle, which is why I really liked the idea of having an overlook. But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna fit in here. Do I want a bridge? Or do I curve the river this direction and then put a bridge going that way? I think I just want to start working on this water terraforming and just see what happens and just kind of see what transpires from this. Yeah, I just feel like if I did that, it kind of takes away from the space that I can put trees. So I just don't know how I want to make this waterfall be natural looking. What if I do make a bridge go this direction? I fear that also might close off the area a bit too much. Ooh, wait, I thought of something. What if I make like a little island and then make a giant lake? Well, not giant, but kind of make a infinity pond type thing where I have the water extend all the way back here and flow into the ocean, but it will kind of be like a little perspective build, and then it's surrounded by a bunch of trees, and then maybe I'll have like a hopping spot somewhere, and that way I still might achieve that canyon type of look if I build out a bit more terraforming on this side and the water just like flows around it. I think I like the idea of that, but I might push the land back a bit more. So I'm gonna figure out this little waterfall right here later and hopefully make it look a little more natural. But I do want to tear down some of this terraforming and then kind of make a little lake, I guess, back here. But I do want it to be centered with the bridge that I made, so I'm gonna have to cut this back even more. Okay, so just imagine you walk across the bridge and then come up here, and this is like the start of a little water perspective build, and then it just like flows out to the very back of the cliff. Okay, something like this, and it's just like a little pond. I can stick in some trees to surround it a bit more, like there and there. But now I feel like I have to extend this terraforming out just a little bit. I'm not really sure if this water feature is going to make much sense anymore down here, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. And I'm thinking I might have to just bring this out even more that way. And that way I can fit another tree right about there. And then if I build out that cliff on that side, I think it feels a bit more closed in now in a good way. I could always add like a little centerpiece in the middle of the lake later on. Something that screams pirate core in the middle. It'd be really cool if I could fit in the museum just floating in the middle of the water, but I think this area is just a little too small for that. Okay, what I think I want to do is plant some trees, and I might time travel so I can see what they look like grown in here. Alright, before I time travel, I did change up the waterscaping a little bit. It does feel a bit more secluded in here, but I like the idea of having these two little waterfalls trickling down into the river, so it makes a bit more sense now, although I feel like I should adjust the pathing just a little bit, mostly this corner, so it kind of like curves that way towards the actual bridge. There we go, that's a little better. And then I do need to do like 2 instances where I do the cliff trick, so one right here and then one over here in this corner. So I'm gonna do that, and then we will time travel, and hopefully it looks kind of good. I might extend out this cliff back here and put in some more trees. Ideally I would have liked to have had access to this portion of the jungle, so maybe I will put in an incline or something on this side, or maybe I'll just like put a ladder on one of the cliffs so you can climb up there, because I feel like this is quite a lot of space that's not really going to be used, and I would prefer to fill it out with something over here. So yeah, I'm just gonna do those things really quick and then we will see what everything looks like grown in. Okay, we are back with a bunch of the trees already grown in, but I have made some updates to the terraforming and landscaping that I want to show you all. And then also in between the time, I did remove the archway here. I liked how it looked when walking into the market, but I just felt like it was blocking this view too much and you couldn't really see this water detail, so I wanted to keep it a little bit more open. So instead I covered the edges of this area with some pillars. So there's that, and then I just moved the arch up here. So I still like it. It actually is kind of cool seeing it walking up from the bridge. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that little update. And then here is what I've been working on in between. I would normally film this because it is part of my process, but a lot of this is me planting a bunch of trees, stunting them, moving things around multiple times, so it can get very repetitive, and I don't know. I felt like it would just be better if I showed you halfway through what it looks like and then cut to when it's finished. So I worked on this little upper part. I planted a few trees here. I'll probably just do some minor decorations up here. And here is what it looks like with a bunch of the trees put in. And I thought of ideas that I could do for the rest of the jungle. So pretty much I laid out the trees that kind of form a path already, just without me having to lay down the code. Just from like their placement, I have open areas where you can walk around. So over here is just like going to be a transition area. I might fill in some sand right here and put in some items. And then back here, I wanted to do a rock garden for something very special that I'm working on that is secret for the DA, but essentially this will be a rock garden, so you may not see this completely finished today because rock gardens take quite some time to complete and I still have quite a lot of open space around the island. So this is probably going to be the last little area that gets complete before I post the DA. But yes, this is going to be a rock garden, and then down this way is actually leading to the back part of a beach that I created. So I want to put a ladder right here, and that can be a second entryway on top of that jungle area. And I also laid down quite a lot of water path right here, and I created this mini beach. I think it's so cute. It runs all the way along the backside of the jungle here. I also was playing with the idea of doing another skull rock. We'll see if I actually end up doing that, but it's a more extension of the cliffside. And down here is the pirate ship. So all of this is right behind my ship. And I'm super glad that the sizing and the layout worked out this way, because I was a little nervous that the jungle would be too cluttered against the ship. But actually when you stand on here, you get quite a fun view of this jungle back here. So especially when you stand on the second level of the ship, you get the view of the jungle in the back, and just imagine all the other trees fully grown in here. I think that's going to be a really nice view. So that is that update. And then there was one final area that I was planting a bunch of trees around and working on some terraforming, which I want to show you. Over here to the right, I want to do another bridge, and this is going to be like an overlook kind of build. And I did lay out a spot to place the museum. I do think I actually will expand it because I think it could work on this island as the building. Like it could be a abandoned temple or something. I don't really know, but I want to put it back there. And then I can move Able Sisters to where the museum currently is on the beach, because you can see it from the neighborhood right now, and I don't really like that you can see it from the neighborhood. So I do want to move Able Sisters. And back there I put in a waterfall. We'll see if that stays, but I thought it'd be like another fun lookout spot. But yeah, this is like the plan so far. A bunch of tree sprouts are all around that need to grow in, but I thought it'd be easier to show you what this layout looks like before all the trees are grown in terms of the terraforming and stuff. So that is what I've been working on, but I do need to do a bit more time traveling and we can start decorating and laying down a bunch of codes and paths. Over here is also something that I started planting a bunch of trees around. This little beach back here is right next to the Skull Rock area, and it's on the left hand side of the bridge, so you can actually see this area when you're up there. And I just think this looks extremely tropical and beautiful. I just love it. I love the lookout over here. And so I want this area to also be another part of the jungle that you can access. But instead of an incline like I mentioned previously, I think I will do a ladder, just because I am somehow almost at the max amount of inclines that I can use on the island, which is kind of crazy. Like I feel like I didn't use that many, but sure enough I have already placed down 8 inclines. I don't really know how that happened, but there's 8 inclines, and this is going to be the 9th one, and then I have one extra one that I could place somewhere. But up here is basically just gonna be a lookout spot. Now I'm sure you all remember this iconic build that was posted on Instagram quite a long time ago by Mia Land. That build was just so gorgeous and beautiful, and I've always wanted to put that on one of my islands, but now that I'm doing a tropical type theme, I think this is going to be a really great spot to put it. So that's what this area is going to be. I did lay down quite a few squares and stuff just so I know which trees I want to place where. So this will probably be another thing that I just time travel and you'll see the end result of it, but I wanted to show you the before and then I'll show you the after of that build. But yeah, it's just going to be a cute little lookout spot. It's going to make the jungle feel even bigger, I hope. So that is the plan for that. As I said, I'm going to do a little bit of time traveling and then we'll continue decorating with all the pathing and adding in a bunch of fun items around. We have a visitor at the campsite. Let's go see who it is. Oh, it's Kitty. Kitty is so cute. You know, I honestly am not like the hugest fan of the cat villagers. Not that I don't like them, but I just don't usually have them on my islands. Oh, we're kind of matching. Like our outfits are matching a little bit. She's so cute. I think if I were to do a fall island, I might want Kitty on that island. I like her. Okay, well that was a cute surprise. It's now time though to check out the jungle area. I have time traveled, let all the trees grow in, and I'm very happy with how this is looking so far. So here's like that other side entrance where I do want to put a ladder in, but here's all of the trees, they're fully grown, and then also this rock spawned over here. I feel like it's just taunting me, like it is one space over of where it needs to be, so I'm gonna have to like knock it down, which is unfortunate. I can't really even move the whole rock circle over because of all the trees. So that's a little annoying, but one rock is now there. Here is what the bridge and the museum looks like put in here, and I think this is such a fun lookout point. I love it. Like, it's so grand. And I think adding in the tiki torches and other statue items will look really nice in the area. Also over here, I did do a little update. I thought of maybe making a little temple. I know I mentioned the museum can be a temple, but this part is actually going to be a temple. So I wanted to put in the stone incline. I already grabbed it from Resident Services, but I wanted to place this here and then maybe put, I forget what it's called, but it looks like a little temple itself. It's kind of square. It's basically a mini pyramid, kind of. Not really. But I want to put that item on top of here, and then you just have the incline going upwards. Oh, I do not have enough bells. Okay, I need to run and get some more bells so I can pay off this incline. But I thought we would kind of just start in this area for now. Start in the smallest portion and then work our way to the left to finish the jungle area. Back here I do still have the waterfall. I do also have some trees that still need to grow in a little bit, but I think now we are going to actually start decorating. So I guess let's go to Resident Services, pay off this incline. I think I've also decided that I do want to do another skull rock over here because look at the view from the ship. I think it looks really cool. You can just sort of see it there in the background, and I think that's really fun. That's actually initially where I wanted to put my skull rock, so it kind of worked out in the end. But I do think I want to work on the temple part first, so I need to go get some of these bells. Okay, here it is, the forbidden altar. That's what the item is. I also have a golden altar. That could be kind of fun too. And then I also wanted to put in some of these glowing moss statues as well next to it, and you never can go wrong with another sword in the area. And then I did want to use these rockhead statues in front of the museum somewhere, and I'm going to need to craft a few tiki torches. Okay, let's pay Lloyd the price of this incline just so I don't forget. And then I think I want to put the statues on either side of the cliff. It just feels very like mystical to me. So that's the vibe. And maybe I'll also put in some decorative pillars as well. Oh, I also need to grab a bunch more weeds from my storage shed. And then I need a ton of bushes as well. Okay, let's plant some weeds. I want to put them over here because I just really want this area to feel overgrown. And then I also have a few mums as well. Let's plant some bushes around. I'm kind of just scattering them randomly wherever I think it's gonna look good. It's just a bunch of filler decor, I guess. And then I also grabbed a few more flowers from a treasure island, so I want to plant those around as well, like the black flowers I've been using. Actually, I think I want this spot to be a bush. I also think it would be kind of fun to sprinkle around a few gyroids. Do I have enough ruined seats and stuff? Because otherwise I might just put some stone seats and then put them on top of those. But I think the ruined furniture would look the best. Okay, good. I have a few ruined seats and then one stone stool. I think I might want to customize those though to be the mossy version, so everything kind of matches. Okay, let's put the stone stool back here. Oh, I guess there's no room. Yes, there is. Okay, let's put the stone stool right there. And then I just grabbed a few random gyroids. So yeah, he's kind of cute. I think one would be really cute tucked back here. And then possibly another one right in front of this tree. And I think one more would look really good right here actually. So I might drop this one right there. You can't see him very well, so I might actually move these mums to behind the palm tree, and then we can place him right in front of the statue. I think one more would look good right in that spot, but I do need one more stool, so I think I need to craft one, and I guess I'll just go for the stone stool. Okay, let's go ahead and place him right here. This area is actually turning out really cute, and it's only a few items so far, but honestly, the gyroids make everything better. You can never go wrong with the gyroids, in my opinion. That is so cute. I'm just like scattered in the area. And then we're gonna put the altar up there. I also grabbed the tall garden rocks. These might look good as some filler decor. And then I do think I want to fill out the beach with a bunch of palm trees. And I also have the Stonehenge item, and I think that would look really good on the rock over there in the distance. So I'll probably place that there. Let's go ahead and actually wait, I want this to be a flower spot right about there. And then this can be another flower, and so can this spot right here. I think this one will be a white mum, and then the other two will be all of the darker flowers. All right, I think that looks very natural. I think I want to work on the pathing now. It probably won't be anything too crazy. I just want it to wind up this way to the incline over there. Actually, this might be a little difficult with Lloyd in the way, but I'm gonna try my best here. There we go. That actually looks a lot better than I thought it would. And good, I can place a weed right here. I think I want to fit one more bush right in this spot. I just want this area to feel as full as possible. And then I have this gyroid fragment. I think it's kind of cute if I dropped it right there. And then maybe I can place that sword in this corner and turn it around. Yeah, I really like that. And then we just gotta sprinkle a few more weeds in the area. And I think that's gonna be it until I see everything grown in here. I do think this spot is missing something, so I guess I'll just plant one more weed and then a flower in this corner. And there we go. We have like a little gyroid temple, I guess. They're kind of protecting whatever is up there. However, I think I want to place a few vines on this side of the cliff just because there's really not going to be anything over here. So might as well cover it in some vines. And then down here, I did map out a few areas where I could plant some trees, but I'm not sure if that's what I really want to do for this area. So I might leave that blank for now, but I do know that I want to place some of these tiki torches over here, as well as the rockhead statues if they fit. I think it'd be really cool to put these on either side. Okay, so it doesn't want to fit in front of the actual museum. What if I put it like in the center? Would that look a little strange? I also want to see what the stone arch would look like right in front of the entryway, and then it kind of like frames off the rockhead statue a bit. That looks kind of cool. And maybe I can place a few bushes and things in front of here, but before I do, I want to see what everything looks like. Oh, that's kind of epic looking. I think I want to block off the museum a little bit more if I can, or maybe I can put some of the ruined pillars on either sides of the building, and then I think I want to surround the museum with some water. So kind of make this area look like a little pond, and then it can kind of flow in front of the rockhead statue a bit. And there we go. I think this is exactly what I wanted it to look like. So just like a really cool centerpiece. We'll have bamboos on either side of the stone statue and some bushes and stuff. I do think I want to put the ruined decorative pillars like behind the bamboo, so I need to craft those, but also I think this section is pretty much done. I just need to fix the pathing, and then we might as well start on the pathing over here. I guess I'll do something kind of similar on the edge of the bridge here because this side looks pretty good and it's a pretty symmetrical build too. So I'll probably just start winding it outwards. And then up here, I kind of wanted to do a split road moment. So I'm thinking of having a middle piece here and then make it go that way. I might even like break up some of the path too, so it's not all one connected dirt road, I guess. Okay, here's the path. I think that actually looks really good. It curves quite nicely into the bridge, I think, and it's like wide enough and everything. Also, I started on this one over here, so I just need to fill in all these corner pieces. I think then we can start decorating this little section here. So I'm kind of just doing like piece by piece as we go along, and it's actually working out pretty well. Actually, I think I might even finish off all the pathing, and then we could just figure out all the little spaces to stick some items in and finish off the build. Since we have all of the trees placed down, this is going by so much smoother, and it's just a lot easier to decorate this way. So I finally put down all the pathing. I think it looks really nice, and it flows pretty well too. I didn't want to do too many like continuous connected paths. I kind of like the idea of having different clusters of the sand. It also just allows me to put in a few weeds and things in between as well. So I really like that. And then I added a few little details over by the temple area. I stuck in these decorative pillars on the top level too, and I think it looks really cool looking. I really like this. It'd be really cool if the statue's eyes could glow. I think that'd be really fun. But I guess we could just pretend that statue has glowing eyes. And then I also time traveled, so we have our incline in here, and I think all the gyroids are just so cute. As I mentioned, I do want to stick in the altar up here, so I just want to lay this path down because you can see the grass in between, and then we're just going to stick the forbidden altar on top. I'm kind of tempted to put like a golden figure on the very top of here, so when you press it, it kind of glows and it just, I don't know, it looks a little more magical. I think I have the golden dung beetle, I think that's what it's called. It kind of just looks like a statue of a golden bug. I think that would be really fitting on top of here. Okay, yes, the golden dung beetle. I want to put that on top, so we're just going to place him right there. I also think this area could use a little bit more tiki torches. Also, you may have noticed I stuck in a few wheat fields too. They just really fill out the area, so I love that. And there we go. I think this area is done. I just need to stick in some wheat fields and things on that cliff back there. But other than that, I think I've pretty much filled up this entire thing, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm waiting for those bamboo trees to grow in, but then that will be done. And let's start working on this area over here. I do want to stick in some pirate barrels, of course, so I'll just kind of scatter those around. And for right here, I wanted to do like a little centerpiece moment, so I want to have 2 angled signposts on either side of this tree, and then maybe I'll put like a sign in the middle right here in front, but I do have to craft all those items first. Okay, I've crafted and customized some of these items, so I want to put the plain shop sign right here in the front, and I just customized it to have a little treasure map, which I think is quite fitting. And then for the angled signposts, I customized one to point to the forest, and then the other one points to the museum, so we'll just point the museum in that direction and the other one in this direction, and I think that's kind of fun. And then I also want to see if a treasure chest would block the sign. Yeah, it kind of blocks the sign a bit. Let's push this one a little bit forward and then stick a barrel right behind here. And then I think I want to stick some pirate boots right in front of here just because that's kind of cute. And I also grabbed a vine bench to go on that side. And there we go. We just have like this cute little cluster. I'm really not sure what I want to put in this green patch right here. So I kind of am thinking of moving this tree over by one, and then I could probably move the barrels over a bit. That way you can see them a bit better, and maybe even push them backwards. Okay, I feel like something like this is just gonna have to work. I just moved the tree over by one space and then added in one more barrel, and I might just have to stick flowers and stuff in here because I don't have that much room to fit anything else. And I think this is enough room for a dormant volcano, which luckily I have 2 more. So I want to see what that would look like in this area. Okay, I'm not sure what I last recorded because I realized I accidentally paused the recording. But I made this little cluster here. Hopefully I recorded that. If not, this is what it looks like. I think it's a really cute combination of items. And then back here, I put in some tiki torches, and I also threw in the golden altar in the center of this rock garden. I just think that's gonna be really cool. And also I got some of the golden roses, so I thought it'd be fun to like stick those in between where all the rocks are gonna be. Although my shovel did break, so I need to go buy a new one. And then I'll probably pick up some more flowers and plant those around. Okay, I got the roses and a new shovel. And I just want to stick these in here, kind of like in a circle. Yes, I love the way that looks. Hopefully I can get this rock garden to work before the end of the challenge. I just need to keep building out the island enough so that they only spawn in these areas, But yeah, love the way that looks. And then what else should I put in here? I did grab a few more flowers, so I guess I could sprinkle these in here. Although I am running very low on the flowers. Alright, I do want to craft this wild log bench and then a few of the leaf piles. And I'm probably going to time travel so I can get a few more wheat fields and things. And then I think that's going to be it. Okay everyone, it's the next day, or next few days in game, and everything that still needed to grow in is grown in now. So let's take a final look at the build today. I did run out of a lot of my black flowers, so I do need to go get some more of those, but that's something I can do off camera. But here we have our bridge that goes over the water, which I absolutely love. I think it's just a really fun detail. And then coming in, this is where we enter our jungle. I added in another creepy skeleton. That's just like a recurring theme around this island. And then we have our log bench right here where you can get a really pretty view of our lake or little pond, whatever you want to call this. I do want to stick a few more flowers on those cliffs back there, probably the darker flowers, but again, I need to go get some of those. And then when you travel through this way, it's just so full of trees and plants and a bunch of other things. I don't really know. But I love how it turned out. Up here we have our top cliff. I think this also needs a little bit more decorating, so I'll probably do that later as well. Most likely in tomorrow or the next day's video, where we will be finishing off our island and doing all the little filler bits that I haven't completely done. Probably in tomorrow's video or the day after that, where I do the fillers around the island. And coming further down the path, we have another little filler area with some treasure. And back here we have our work in progress rock garden. I'm hoping all of these will fill in for the dream address, so come back to see what that looks like when I do the island tour. And then down this way to the right, we have our little intersection spot with these signs pointing to different directions within the jungle, and all the way over here leads to the museum with our giant rock figure. I think this lookout spot is really cool. I love how this turned out. I think it's so fun and whimsical and also very ancient looking. I'm really glad that the museum was able to fit in somewhere over here. So now it's off of the beach and I actually got to incorporate it in a build. And then lastly, in the top right corner of the jungle, we have our little gyroid temple. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I should have put a gyroid on top of this temple. I don't know, maybe I will move that around, change up the details, but I think this is also a really cool lookout spot as well. It's just so lush and beautiful. I had so much fun doing this little section. I also threw in the Stonehenge over there on the rocks, and I'm hoping that the coconut trees grow in a little bit bigger, and I'll probably add a few more along the beach. But that is essentially all of the jungle. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching me put this all together. I know it was a lot of like tree placement and just item placement, but slowly but surely we got there in the end, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And with this being the last big area on the island to work on, we are pretty much done with all the main sections on this island, so we just need to do a few more little final touches around, which I might do in tomorrow's video or the next day. I do want to decorate the interior of my house, so that's another day that we're going to spend working on this island. And soon enough, we're going to be doing the island tour, which I cannot believe. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider subscribing and also liking. It truly helps me out so much, and I would just love to have you guys join this cozy community that we are building here. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I hope you all have a lovely day or night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!